long time since I've made a video, and I am here today to talk about the next 5 books that I have read in 2016. So that would be books 6 through 10. So I actually finished book 10 like the middle of last week or the beginning of last week, and I just never got around to making the video. And part of the reason why I'm doing my wrap-ups this way was so I wouldn't be like the end of the month or the beginning of the month. And well, here we are at the beginning, end of the month. But it's okay. It's no big deal. So let's get started with book number 6 that I read, and that is Doctor Who Time Lord Fairy Tales, written by Justin Richards. And I got to buddy read this with Felicia from the Little Prairie Library and Sam from Novels and Nonsense, and it was such a joy to buddy read this. I don't think I would have been able to finish it as quickly, even though it did take us probably about a month to finish it. I probably wouldn't have powered through the entire book in like one consecutive reading, but I did because I was buddy reading it, and it was a joy. There were some that I liked more than others. So the way that I rated this book, I got this idea from Sam, and she rated each book individually and then did an average of the ratings, and I actually did mine on a 10-point scale because I found probably about 5 stories in that a 5-star scale was just really hindering me, and so I did a 10 scale and then I divided that in half, and so overall I gave this book a 7.75 out of 10 stars, and so that comes out to be about 3 point something stars, almost a 4-point star book. And my favorite out of all of the 15 stories, I gave a 9.5 to Cinderella and the Magic Box. I absolutely loved this one. And so this book, the name tells you what it is. It's fairy tales, kind of with a twist with some Doctor Who references of villains, and there's a little bit of the Doctor into it, and so I really enjoyed this. There were a couple that I didn't really enjoy all that much just because there's just something about the story trying to be told in 15 pages that there's a lot more that you like. I just wanted something more, but there were some that were just so fantastic. So I highly recommend this for any Doctor Who fan. It was really enjoyable. Book number 7 was Give Me a Call by Sarah Lanowski. This is a young adult book that I just randomly picked up at the library. This is about this 18-year-old girl who has come to the end of high school and she just feels like her life is just kind of falling apart. The boyfriend that she spent all of her time with has broken up with her. She's going to a terrible college, and oh, what was me, life! And she is at the mall and she ends up dropping her cell phone into this fountain. And when she gets it out and dries it out, the only person that she can call is her 14-year-old self. And so it's her trying to manipulate the past of getting her 14-year-old self to listen to her and to change things so that her life could be better in the future. And I do have to say that there is a little bit of, you know, like just time travel and messing with the past is just, there are some consequences, but there are some things it's just like, well, if you change this, then you never would have been here. And so you really do have to suspend your disbelief, even though it is a time travel book. Other than that, I really enjoyed this book. It's very cute. I thought that the character development with the main character, with her being 18 and then being 14, I thought that it was a really interesting way to do character development because you're seeing her from 2 different ages, and it was just really interesting, and I just really liked the story, and I found myself at the end, finishing this book, I thought about these characters for like a week after, because I wanted to know where they ended up, where did they go, what happened, how did life develop for them, and I don't know, it just was really fun. I think it really does go down to that that depth of everybody always thinks, if I could do it over again, what would I do different? And how would that affect my future? I think this is a really great, really cute, fun read. If you're looking for a YA romance time traveling book that is just really easy to read, I highly recommend this book, and I definitely will be reading more of Sarah Lanowski's books because her writing was just really fun. So that is book number 7 that I finished. And then book number 8 is a middle grade book, and it is Heartland by Lauren Brooke. This is the first book in the Heartland series, which is, the first book is titled Coming Home. The story is about this girl Amy and her family, the Flemings, and they live on this ranch that accepts injured and abused horses, and they rehabilitate them and rehome them. And I found out about this book series actually from a TV show. Heartland is actually a Canadian TV show that I absolutely love. It's so fantastic. And so I wanted to read the book to see if it's anywhere near as good or if the story is different. And so I have to say, if you watch the TV show, the book, things are very different actually, except for the fact that the ranch is still called Heartland and all of the characters' names are the same. And there's some basic elements of the story that are the same, but there's so much of it that's different in the book than from the TV show. You have to really stop thinking about the TV show because it's not going to be anywhere near what the book is going to be about, and vice versa. I thought it was a very heartwarming story. I think if you're looking for a good middle grade story for your, 8 to 12-year-olds that really love horses, I think it's a good series to get them started in because the language is pretty simple, but it does give a little bit of character development that I think is really great, especially in a middle grade novel. And I think it's really cute. If you like horses and you're looking for a good middle grade series, I would recommend it. The language does get a little bit annoying, but I just had to constantly remind myself the audience for this is 10 to 12-year-olds, and so as a 31-year-old, of course, some of the language is going to annoy me because it is a little bit more simple than I'm used to. But other than that, I thought it was a good story. I do like the TV show better than the book, and I probably won't continue on the series. I just had to check it out. So that is Heartland by Lauren Brooke. Book number 9 that I read/listened to, actually, I listened to all of it, I didn't read any of it, and that is a reread for me, and that is A Beauty So Rare by Tamara Alexander. This is the second book in the Belmont Mansion novel series. As I've said many times, Tamara Alexander's books, you can really read them in any order, but they are best read if you read them in publication order or series order. So you can read them standalone, but really you get a little bit more character development in all of the characters or setting and all that. So anyway, so this is the second book in the Belmont Mansion series, and this follows Eleanor, whose aunt is Adelicia Ackland. She is moving into her house and her father is being put into a home, and she's dealing with the fact that how the war has shaped her life, and she wants to make a name for herself. She wants to be able to take care of her family without her aunt's assistance and without having to marry for money. And so she wants to do something great. And then you have Marcus, who is actually from Austria, and he is a duke in Austria, and he's come to America for a year to also just make something of himself that doesn't have his name as the Duke of Austria put on it. And so it's their story of like they're building a friendship and just how it slowly progresses from there. This is definitely one of my least favorite books of Tamara Alexander's. I don't particularly like the character of Eleanor. I think she is very pretentious, and even though it makes her seem like she's trying to be selfless, there are some places where it's just like pride gets in the way of her really making a huge difference. And so, and listening to it, some of the language just came out of like her being very haughty, and it just, yeah, and I do have to say it was more enjoyable listening to it because it is a very slow paced book. There's not a whole lot of going on in the story. There's not a whole lot of like secret or intrigue going into it that there are in other of Tamara Alexander's books. I think it just comes down to the fact that I didn't really connect with the two main characters. However, I do think she does still bring an intriguing aspect to characters, an intriguing aspect to a setting of our history. I still recommend Tamara Alexander. Just know that this one is a very long chunker of a book and it's very slow paced. So I would definitely recommend listening to this one in particular. So that is A Beauty So Rare by Tamara Alexander. The Okay, and then the last book that I read is actually a graphic novel. My husband got this for me for Valentine's Day / our date anniversary, and that is My Little Ponies Friends Forever, volume number 2, and I absolutely love this series. It's so fun. The artwork is just like so cute. I mean, look at how cute. It's just, I mean, can you get any cuter? It's so cute, and it was so fun. There are 4 stories in there. My favorite was the last one. It's about Applejack and Rarity. They're going on a road trip on a train, and they have misadventures, and I think that one is the best written, and I think the story is the most intriguing. Each one is done by a different writer, and you can definitely tell, and the problem that I have with this particular series is that when you're with a graphic novel, it's like, I know that the story is going to be a little stilted, but this one, it just seems like you're going from one frame to another, and there are times when they skip something and you feel like, did I miss something? Am I missing out on a story that happened in a different series? And so there's a little bit of problems, but it's still really fun and cute. So if you're looking for just a cute little graphic novel, or if you have a daughter that wants to get into graphic novels but she's not into superheroes, definitely recommend My Little Ponies. Okay guys, so those are the next 5 books that I finished. I have started probably like 4 other books. I'm in the middle of, 4 books. So we'll see whenever I finish any of those. So, okay guys, I hope you're having a great reading month, and let me know some of the books that you've been reading, some books that you're looking forward to, or whatever you want to say down in the comments. Let's just chat down there. And guys, I hope you're having a great reading month, and I will see you on the flip side. Bye! Bye! Oh, and just so you know, A Beauty So Rare is the only book that was on my TBR shelf for the first 3 months of the year.